tone, but they couldn't handle that. Nope, they couldn't handle that. If they really knew the fact, they really don't know.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series, we're going to be going over Jupiter and the houses. Jupiter and the houses. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the first house, having Jupiter in your first house, alright? And before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys to check out my music, okay? I've been getting some comments on my music, so definitely check it out. It's here on YouTube. All you have to do is type my name, Sam Dolphin, and my music will definitely pop out. Also, you can check it out on Spotify or Apple Music as well, too. Same thing. So, yes, that is that. So, yes, Jupiter in the first house. And before we get into that, Jupiter in the first house, let's just dissect Jupiter and the first house, okay? So the first thing is Jupiter, okay? Jupiter in astrology represents the planet of expansion, okay? This is the planet that expands everything, okay? And this is even symbolic in the fact that Jupiter is like the biggest planet when you compare it to Mars, Mercury, Venus. It's the biggest one, and it represents that expansion, okay, and that's the theme, okay? And with expansion comes abundance, okay? A lot of something, okay? Because that's what Jupiter does. It expands, so you get a lot of something. Anything Jupiter, wherever it is in your chart, represents an expansion and abundance of something. So wealth is connected to Jupiter. Just having a lot of something is connected to Jupiter, and that's great. Because Jupiter is also connected with luck, okay? The reason why people are lucky is because of their expansion. So, for example, think about a raffle. If you had, 100 names and 40 of those names are yours, there's a great chance that you will be chosen. And that's how Jupiter operates. It expands you, so you're lucky. That's why luck is connected to Jupiter, because of the expansion. You stand out, the probability is on your side when you have Jupiter, okay? So yes, and Jupiter also represents long distance traveling, getting outside of the hometown, or just getting outside of your comfort zone or what's local. Because Jupiter, again, is that expansion, so it rules the traveling, foreign places, seeing things you've never seen before. And that also connects to philosophy, okay? And seeing the bigger picture of the world and having your own beliefs in the world. Spirituality, philosophy, faith, all those things come from expansion in Jupiter. And then you have the first house. The first house represents your identity, your physical body, what you look like, what you identify with, what people first see, the energy, the aura that people get when they first see you, your surface persona, okay? This is like the energy you lead with, all right? So the first thing I can say with people with Jupiter in the first house is their physical body is expansive. There's something big or exaggerated or, expansive about their physical character traits, okay? And this can be anything, okay? This can manifest into having a really tall body, like you're really tall, okay? This can, or you're very big, curvy, or it can be certain facial features that are really big, maybe you have, a big forehead, or maybe you have really full lips, or anything. Anything about your body can be expanded, because this is what Jupiter does. And since it's in the first house, since it's in the first house, it's going to expand your physical body, okay? So your physical traits definitely are expansive, okay? And it's going to show in certain ways. And this is also kind of represented in like having big energy, okay? Because with Jupiter in first house people, a lot of times the first thing people get from you is this big kind of I wouldn't say over exaggerated, but just big extra personality, okay? And it's like, because it's the first house, it's like, not only is it in your personality, but it's also like manifested physically. So there's something about you physically that grabs a lot of attention, that's really big, okay? Type of character trait. And like I said, it's personality too. So Jupiter in the first house people, their personalities are very, very, very extra. So maybe it didn't manifest physically, but you sure will have it personality wise, because again, the first house is the energy you identify with. So any signs or planets in this house is going to be what you embody physically and energetically. So again, Jupiter first house people are very extra. These people, they like to play around, they like to clown around, they like to be extra. Like it could just be like 6 in the morning and they're just being so extra, very funny, like to surprise people. They can even be obnoxious, like really Jupiter in the first house people, like they could just be even obnoxious or just fun like that, but they have a very fun, big energy, and they definitely get a lot of attention, okay? Because again, this is Jupiter in the first house, so you're putting that Jupiter energy right in the forefront. So again, when they enter into a room, if it's not their physical body, if it's not something physically about them that gets a lot of attention, it's their energy. Like they're just big, okay? Even in the way they could possibly dress too. Jupiter doesn't really mean you're going to be good with fashion. That's like Venus and stuff. But it does explain, because this is the first house, how we identify, how we look. You know, it could explain how we dress as well too. And they could be really extra and, you know, be the person to wear the crazy costume, be the person to put on that crazy, I don't know, outfit, because they just love to be big and extra. So definitely physically, but also energetically, spiritually, like their personalities are really big and extra. Also with Jupiter in the first house people, these people are going to be very philosophical, very much seekers of knowledge, okay? Jupiter is a very knowledgeable, philosophical planet, because it likes to expand its mind, its energy. And expansion through traveling, you get to learn more. When you expand your energy, when you go out of your borders, you get to learn more because you see more, you see different things. And that's why Jupiter represents philosophy and faith and beliefs, because our faiths are basically what we know of this world. So if you're constantly expanding, you're learning more. So that's why this is a very Jupiter's a very philosophical, educational type of planet and energy as well too. Okay, so these people are going to be very knowledgeable. They're going to want to learn more things. They're going to want to see things. They're going to want to search for knowledge. Okay, it could be any way. It could be, you know, through traveling, which we'll get into, but it could also be through researching, just expanding their minds, knowing more, because this is the adventure. This is a person who identifies with Jupiter. Your first house is what you identify with. So you're embodying whatever energy's here, and you're embodying Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about expansion, knowing more, seeing more. Okay, it's never enough just to be, you know, in your local area learning the same things. You want to expand and know more. So these people are like that, and they're going to be very knowledgeable, going to be very philosophical, going to be about what they know. Okay, because they adventure so much, they learn so much, so they know a lot. And they have their own ideas, their own faiths, their own philosophies. You know, they can have a very type of preaching personality where they just want to tell you what they know, their beliefs and why, you know, because they learn so much. So it is a very philosophical type of energy too. And with Jupiter in the first house, it gives you that personality, okay? You could be very preachy, and not even just preachy. You could just be very hungry for knowledge and knowing more and seeing more. Also, you're an adventurer, okay? Jupiter first house people, you're an adventurer. So you're learning more because you're adventuring, okay? These people identify with that, okay? They identify with exploring. That's how you see more. So they're going to want to burst out of their borders. You know, these are people who like to travel, okay? Jupiter first house people, that's your personality to travel. Okay, because you wanna, you know, see more things. Okay, you wanna travel, you wanna adventure, and it also makes you fun too. You know, adventurers are fun. These are the type of people that can bring you along, you know, somewhere fun. They don't have to, because this is Jupiter in the first house. First house is about yourself, so they just travel for themselves. But just experiencing this type of energy and how it manifests in someone's personality, they're like the people who go on adventures and they do fun stuff because they have that energy to explore, and they're brave and courageous like that. Okay, Jupiter in first house, like a very courageous personality. Okay, you are extra, you are wild, you do like to, you know, kind of stand out in a way. Not so much in like the Sun Leo sense, but you just like to expand and be free and express your energy. So that comes with courage and a strong form of expression. So yes, definitely that is. But yes, Jupiter first house people are definitely adventurers, definitely fun people to be around because they're always exploring. Also, they're very physically active, and Jupiter in first house can lead to even athleticism. And people don't say that, but Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It's a fire sign, so it makes you very physically active, and it makes sense because as, you know, a Jupiter person, you're traveling, you got to be physically active, you got to be on the go. So it's like movement and that type of energy is good for Jupiter first house people, you know, because you got to understand first house is your physical body. So you have Jupiter in here that's all about expanding and being free. This is a very active body. This is a body that has to explore, that has to be on the move. So athleticism is a good form of expression for Jupiter in first house people too. And they can be that way because they have so much energy, you know, because again, the first house is your physical body. So putting Jupiter in there gives your physical body a lot of energy, a lot of will and motivation to move, because you want that freedom. You want to be on the move. You want to constantly be moving. So lots of energy and motivation with Jupiter in the first house. Also, Jupiter in first house is a very optimistic, lucky, you know, and like confident in yourself sign. You know, I like this placement to explain confidence because that confidence comes from that optimism. Jupiter is very optimistic. It's an optimistic energy because it's expansion. Think about it. If you have an abundance of something, do you ever feel like you're going to fall? Do you ever feel like something wrong is going to happen? No, you feel so much support because you have an abundance of something, and that's like Jupiter. Like Jupiter makes whatever you have Jupiter in, it like gives you confidence because you feel abundance. You feel like you have no lack. So having this in the first house, this is like in your persona, like you're confident within yourself. You're optimistic. These people are very happy. And that's why I said they're fun, because not only they're adventurous, but they're optimistic. They have an optimistic energy, an optimistic aura. They're very confident in themselves, and they're very confident in life. So Jupiter is like a very upbeat, optimistic, positive energy, and having this in the first house, you have this in your personality, so you're good energy. Very similar to like a rising Sagittarius. And yes, you're lucky and you stand out. Jupiter in the first house, it gives you again that type of energy where you stand out, whether you have a big exaggerated personality, you know, you just got so much energy, or, you know, there's something about you physically that's so big and exaggerated that stands out, okay? And in a positive way too. You know, I know some people can think like, oh, like, isn't having like a big over exaggerated features, like, isn't that awkward? It could be awkward, but with the optimism of Jupiter, it's more like kind of like, yeah, I'm tripping, but I'm having fun at the same time. You know, Jupiter people, they're the people that fall but laugh, and then you laugh with them. You know, it's a very like happy, optimistic energy. So even the awkwardness is like fun. So yes, that is Jupiter in the first house. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you did, book a reading with me, okay? I do readings. I do natal chart readings in depth, as well as tarot. Okay, we can add tarot right into it. Definitely been getting some good responses, so book a reading with me. You know, you can email me. Also, check out my music as well too, Spotify, Apple, and here on YouTube. All the links will be in the description box below, and I'll check you guys out on the next video.